Hey class, this is Brittany Salcido. The title of my trade book was Humans and the Earth. And for the first question, it says briefly describe where you got a copy of your assigned trade book and how did the process work? Was it easy or hard? So I got a copy of it provided online and I thought it was pretty easy. It was super organized and well written, and it was very detailed on how the lesson should be taught, and it goes over the five E's as far as what a lesson plan should look like. The next question is please list 2 to 3 observations I made. The thing that stood out the most to me was the content as far as what literature should be used with it, and I think it's always great to start with a book or a story, especially with the younger grades, because it's a great foundation of how to start a lesson, so that way they kind of get a background of what the lesson's going to be about. And I thought that it was good that it had couple books for the options of where to start, and it gave a synapse of the book. The second thing that I noticed was the materials needed for the lesson were on the top corner and they were a different color, so it kind of stood out really well, so that way if you're in a rush and you need to look to see, okay, what supplies do I need to prepare and get ready, it's right there ready for you to read. And then, like I had said previously, the last thing that I noticed was the key components to being the great lesson, which is engaging, exploring, explaining, elaborating, and evaluating. It does a great job breaking down each area and how this lesson is portrayed to that. 2 things that I really liked was how well it was structured, and it was really easy to read and follow along while teaching it. I also liked that it was relevant to the subject that was being taught. So since mine was about humans and the earth, the first lesson was about how humans affect the natural resources on earth, and giving students an idea of what the natural resources are and what the daily things that you use can be made of, and are we using too much of the natural resources. And this is something that I think is really important for the kids to know, because as they get older, they are the future, and we need to make sure that they're prepared and ready for what's to follow, because unfortunately our earth resources are getting utilized to where there might not be any in the next couple decades. So hopefully we can come up with a solution, and it starts with our kids. I got off track a little bit. So, and then the second thing I noticed was at the very bottom, it had the next generation science standards. So it aligned with what the lesson was teaching, and I thought that that was really good to have it on hand, so you can reference of what the actual standard is and making sure that your lesson is really aligning with that. Because sometimes you can get a real cool lesson and you think, wow, this is awesome, I can't wait to teach my kids. But you have to ask yourself, is it aligning with that standard? And having the standard there is great to reference it. The only thing that concerned me for question number 4 is it stated that it wanted kindergarten to 2nd grade to create a poster. And I think that creating posters are cool and fun, but I also think that it would be pretty cool if they utilized some technology and did a Google slide presentation, or instead of just a poster, maybe they could make flyers, and those flyers can be passed out on how we could save the earth's natural resources and stuff like that. But I think it just would be cool to be a little more creative as far as the end lesson on to demonstrate your knowledge for it, instead of just doing a poster, because I feel like a poster is kind of common. The 5 areas: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So without giving any details of the specific lesson, to engage, it's really to catch the student's attention, and I think it's very important that students are excited and ready and wanting to learn. So in order to ensure that, it's good to make sure that it's something that they're excited and wanting to do because it looks fun. Because if the lesson is fun, then the kids are going to want to do it, and it's a lot more successful when they're enjoying what they're doing. The second one is explore. So this part of the lesson is really for the hands-on activities and for the students to be able to use some manipulatives and do their own investigating. Number 8 is explain. So for this part of the lesson, it gives the students the opportunity to discover what they did with those hands-on activities and the investigations they made. It's also a great way for them to use their key terminology and connecting all of those things together. For elaborate, this part of the lesson is for the students to put together what they learned and how they can apply it to real life situations. So a lot of the times I hear students say, why do I need to learn this? How am I going to use this in real life? So it's really good to incorporate that in your lesson, so that way they know they're learning it for a reason and they know there's a purpose for it, so that way they can utilize it outside of just inside the classroom. And the last thing is evaluate. So this is where the teacher is able to measure the knowledge that the student really captured from that lesson, and it's just a way for them to apply that knowledge into a final exit ticket, a final project, stuff like that. I think I would definitely use this lesson in my classroom. I think it was fun and interactive for the students, and it really hit on the elaborate part, because these are real life situations that they're going to have to learn how to do for our future generations. So I think overall this was a fun lesson, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.